Mixing what? Thank you.
Like, online wants recording.
Hi. Thanks. Yeah.
Always. So you were talking about breakfast for a new teacher because they were supposed to have breakfast yesterday and they didn't.
Oh.
So I'm verifying. Just so you know, FFA is earlier. Yeah, 7. Okay. I don't know that head count doesn't change, but time does. Yes. Okay. I will tell Tracy.
I don't know if you can change it. We can go.
We can change it if we know today. So I'll let her know.
Okay. This is the landscape drawing presentation. If you want, hey guys, I'm trying to start here. Sorry. If you want, you guys can scoot forward unless you think you can hear me from where you are. Then you can say where you are. I'm hard of hearing. Amy will tell you I'm constantly asking people what you said or something. So if you're fine where you are, then I'm fine with where you are. My name is Wayne Ramsey. We'd like to welcome the Zoom participants. I'd like to thank Amy Morrison, my tech ed person that's so cool. I had everything all set up. I got a computer engineer from Minneapolis and he got everything all set up for me. So all I had to do was push the button and say, start the meeting. But I didn't push the button, start the meeting for like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 days. So it reverted to nothing. And so I'm in now. So we're talking about landscape drawings and I'm going to talk to you about everything I know about landscape drawings. I coach nursery landscape teams. I say I'm pretty good at it, and I will tell you everything that I know. One of my previous students, I told him everything, and he ended up beating us at state one year. He said I did everything you told me to. So all I'm talking to you about now is the landscape estimating. And what kind of talk? I have one of my previous students standing there who was on our nursery team at 1 year. She's an intern now at Wazoo, and so. In the folder, and I've got hard copies if you need them. In the folder, I've got a landscape drawing, really good one. It's probably what you're going to see at state. This one's not what you're going to see at state, but the same kind of style. And I was just telling, her name is Julia. I was just telling Julia, it's one of my previous students. He's got a very high-end landscaping company, and if you guys that are on Zoom, you just butt in anytime. I am not one of those guys that is so structured that I can't roll with the flow. So if you have a question, you just stop me and we'll fix it right away. Okay. I was telling her how excited I was because he's got a high-end landscaping company, very high-end. And so his landscape drawing is, it's in color, the one in the file, and it's right here too. And he has some 3D landscape drawings, parts of that landscape drawing. So some of it's 3D, some of it's regular, some of it's color, and it's exactly cutting edge. He gets a lot of money because I paid him to do some work on my place, and it was a lot of money, even though he's a former student. And so he does really well. And so the people at the nursery contest this year really liked the way that he had done it. So I'm gonna tell you about 2 kinds of landscape drawings that you're gonna see at a contest, okay? One of them is if Wayne Ramsey's running the thing and puts the landscape thing together, or if one of us as coaches that don't know landscaping as well as a professional, and one's what you're going to see with this guy. And I hope that this guy does them all. Burlington is hosting, Burlington and Woolley are working together on a nursery landscape contest this year, and we will be using this guy's landscape drawings, okay? Now, what I like about the way he puts them together, and you can look at the questions. I've got questions here. You're welcome to take some. I think we made 15, 20 copies, but I also have it in the file. What I like is the kids learn from taking the contest. He might say, what kind of a drawing are these drawings? And one of the choices is 3D drawing. And they go, oh yeah, that's a 3D drawing. Boom. So they check off 3D, they got it right. And I'm fine with that, you know? And he would have things like, what's this conduit for? Well, you got to think it's for the electrical wires that are going to the fountain or to the pump, or you see what I'm saying? So very, very, very good landscape drawings. He's going to be doing the Burlington contest, and I'm very sure he'll do state because he did a really good job. And so in the nursery, and then you have the ones that Wayne Ramsey does. Okay, and so if I do one, I don't have the knowledge that this guy has. I do have a lot of knowledge. I'm a landscape estimate. I'm a whatever designer, but I'm not nearly at the level of this kid. This kid went to nationals with us years ago, and he finished, I think, in the top 10 in the nation. He's really sharp, and so I'm not there. And so if you have an advisor running it that does not have the experience, you're going to get a lot of math questions, and I hate that. Okay, because sometimes you'll have, one year we had a team of maybe 5 little guys, and they were all sophomores, and the only thing they did really well on landscape drawing because they were really good at math. They ended up winning, and they went to nationals, but they didn't have all the other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna have either you might have to do something at some contest that's a lot of math. Okay, so if you do the math, teach the kids the area of a square. Okay, and then a right triangle is the area of a square divided by 2. It's just the way it is. And then teach them how to figure out cubic yards and from square feet. Okay, so I got square feet. How do I figure into cubic yards? And I can tell you that, or a math teacher can tell you that. So I didn't want to waste our time too much talking to you about that. But at a regular Joe Blow contest, you're going to get a lot of math questions. Okay, and because we just run out of things, what else can we do? Okay, so another thing at a contest that people might ask you is, the plants on the northwest side of the drawing, or the plants on the north side, what are they? Okay, and here's the trick, and teach your kids this. North is not always up, okay? North on a landscape drawing could be to the left or right. So first thing I tell my kids, check it out. Where's the north on this thing? And then when you know, then your kids should be able to do okay, okay? Another thing that they'll ask, and that this guy will ask sometimes, is how many Acer rubrum are there? That's a red maple, okay? And I think we have a thing in our state where you're not supposed to use just the Latin name, although I sometimes wonder, because at nationals you got to just use the Latin name, but whatever, it doesn't make a rat's rear end either way. If someone says, how many red maple are on the north side of the property? Okay, and you're going to count them, or let's say you're going to count heather. Okay, how many heather plants are are by the patio? Okay, or how many heather plants in the entire, this is the hard one. How many heather plants are in entire landscape? And you'll have different things. And so if it's a plant like a heather, they will have they have dots in the middle. They'll have a, and then have dot. Each dot counts as one heather plant. Okay, so know that. If it's trees or shrubs, they should just have a round thing and the dot in the middle. Okay. Now, if they ask you about the drip line, or what is the area, that's the outside spot. So the drip line, my first mentor was an ag teacher who was my principal, and he taught me all this stuff. He used to tell me, because it was in California, almonds are considered fruit trees, but they are fruit trees, by the way. They're not just considered fruit, they are fruit trees. So part of the contest for fruit tree judging was the drip line, checking the drip line. The drip line is if you're standing underneath the canopy and no water's coming through the canopy, when you start getting wet, that's when you just got into the drip line. You see what I'm saying? So it's the outside edge, all right? Okay. So if they ask you what the total amount of plants of anything, or the total posts, or total anything on a landscape drawing, what I think is beneficial for my kids is to take the landscape drawing that they have, you can touch it, and fold it in half. Okay, and then do everything on one side, write it down, everything on the other side, write it down. Do that 2 or 3 times. If it checks every time, then you're in. That's a trick, okay? And it helps your kids not get lost, all right? Also, sometimes, and if I do a contest, I'm gonna do this because I like to do it. In the old days at nationals, the kids had to do their own landscape drawings. So they used to have to know how to do the difference, what's the difference between an evergreen tree and a deciduous tree when you're drawing it. So sometimes I'll say, which is this, evergreen or deciduous? And they should know just by looking at the landscape drawing. So if it's evergreen, it's ziggy-zaggy. It's, it looks like something you wouldn't want to sit on, okay? Like my wife's family had this big liquid amber tree. You don't have to know what that is. All I know is that the seed balls were like size of golf balls. They had spikes all over them. So when I go out to the car barefooted in the night, I hit one of those seed balls. I didn't like it. So that's what a zigzag thing's like. Because you get the analogy, you'll remember this now. A deciduous tree is like a golf ball. It's just smooth. Or it can be rounded like a butter knife. Boop, 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 boop. something that would be pleasant to step on, probably. Oh, I stepped on a golf ball that's got round dimples. No big deal. Okay. Yeah, scallop. Yeah, you got it. Just like little round things. You're right. And so those are the two differences. Okay, shrubs and trees. That's the way they draw them. If you're doing, like I said, something like ground covers, that's where you're going to look for the dots within the bed. Okay. The math I've seen, sometimes they're not supposed to have one math question following another math question that relies on the first question getting it right. Did I say that right? Everybody know what I'm saying? They're not supposed to do that. If they do, it's because it's just because the person putting on the contest made a mistake. And I would tell you guys, I've been at all kinds of contests. Some of them, the people had the wrong plants off the wrong list. Sometimes the people had the wrong math and all that stuff. Be nice to these guys, because some of them are beginners and they're just doing their best. They're like us, and they're just doing their best. And winning's not that, Amy's going to say what? Winning's not that important. Okay. Doing your best is important, but you don't want to destroy some young ag teacher, by saying, what the hell are you doing? This is all screwed up. I mean, just work with them. Okay. Because they're doing the best they can. All right. And same with Ramsey. I make mistakes all the time on stuff too. Okay. So I thought about what are some things I could, and then also I wanted to talk to you about how you use scales. Okay, now I thought about, Margaret and I were talking about teaching you guys how to use a scale, like a engineer scale or an architect scale. And I thought about it, but I decided, with my knowledge base, we are better off if I'm sharing with you things that I know will help you win a contest, that I'm sharing with you how to use a scale, because you can Google how to use a scale. How do I use an architect scale? How do I use an engineer scale? You see what I'm saying? So I decided not to do that as part of the presentation today. Is that all right, you guys? If you feel the need, we'll talk about it and go over it.
About 10 minutes.
What's that?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. Well, good. I'm right on schedule then, because I really, those that know me, I know we're always shooting the bull when we see each other outside and stuff. I'm a very verbal person. Okay. I'm very, although it's surprising, I'm very organized, but I'm not organized like what people consider organized. Okay. I'm just not, I don't know how you put that, but if I run a crew of 30 kids running chainsaws, I'm pretty organized. Nobody ever gets hurt because we're organized. So I want to open it up to questions, because that's if I go to if you guys doing a presentation, you're probably gonna have to put a sack over my head, because I'm gonna keep asking questions, because I feel like I paid money to come to this conference. If I have a question, I'm gonna ask you, and I don't care how stupid I look asking you. I don't care how stupid you look asking me, and I don't care if I just covered it and you ask me again. That's okay. All right. So what do you have? Does anybody have? I can wrap up, but do you have any questions? What do you feel like? Are you gonna host a nursery team? Not host. Are you gonna have a contest? Go to a contest? What kind of questions do you have about the landscape drawings worth 200 points? Okay. And Margaret talked about me talking about landscape drawing, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more. The plant here, take one of these.
Keep talking, Ramsey.
Okay. And that's the final.
Okay.
Jordan has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've never coached a team, and I am new at teaching.
Yes.
If I want to have a team, what would you recommend us practicing before we go to our first contest and do it?
All right, you got it, coach. Here's the deal. Here's what I teach my kids, okay, as the key to do well as fast as you possibly can. I have 3 teams, okay? I got little brothers and little sisters at middle school, and they're working. And then when they come in as this last year, when they came as freshmen, we had a 3rd team. And I told them, I said, the quickest way to do you really well in a landscape contest is to study the test, okay? Here's the reason why. They give you, and they'll send it out. And if you don't get it, you contact me, you contact, Amy's really sharp. She knows a lot of this stuff. Ask her and say, hey, Amy, where's the thing so I can find it, so I can know how to train my team. She'll say, go right here. She'll help you like 1,000%. If you got a question about how to coach a team, you ask me. I'm mentoring 2 or 3 new ag teachers this year, and I will tell you everything I know. And I care that you beat me, but I don't care that much. You know what I mean? If you beat me, that's great, because that means I helped you. So the first thing is to teach them the test question. And the reason is because there's a bank of test questions, about 500 questions, and 50 questions will come off of that worded the exact same way with the exact same answer. And it comes down to what you got to tell your kids is, when I started a team, I said, well, how do you guys want to do this year? I know how they want to do, because I've been pumping them up. But I want them to feel like it's their contest. And you got to ask them, say, how do you want to do? And if they say they want to win, then you tell them, well, we're going to win or lose this marathon today while we're training. We're not going to win or lose on the day of state. And so many teams do not have enough gumption to study those test questions. And I tell them, then the next step is the plan ID. Okay, test questions are worth 250 points. Plan ID is 250 points. Landscaping is 200. Usually I tell my kids, throw landscaping out there and do the other two things really hard. And then the landscape drawing, you just kind of pick it up as you go. Okay. So test and then plan ID. On plan ID, I tell my kids, I want you to know it like the difference between a diesel truck and a washing machine. I don't want you to say it's kind of maybe this. I want you to flat out say, this is what it is. And the only way that happens is practice. So this year we're going to, Wooley's going to nationals, and something that's really in our favor is the plan ID is virtual. So no, online, sorry. It's online, which gives us a big advantage to North Carolina and the guys that always win because they have the plants that are close by nationals. So my kids already, they want to start, this is awesome. They want to start practicing next week. We're going to, and so they've already got every one of the plants on the plan ID. They've already developed, they've done this in the spring. They've developed a slide. Every kid has a slideshow with every plant, and we're going to study those. So the plan ID is second, and then the landscape drawing, and then the practicums. Okay. The thing about the practicums is you have another ag teacher judging you. And it's been a long time since guys have sandbagged, but sandbagging is if you're good, they give your kids a low score, they give their kids a high score. I don't agree with it. Some people think it's part of ag teaching, whatever, but I haven't seen that in nursery landscape for a long time. So I wouldn't worry about that. I just put that at the very end because they're each worth 50 points. They're kind of come and go, whatever, And so that's what I would do. The team activity is also there, but it's not, I don't put that much emphasis on the team activity because we got it ranked. So 100, you get 100%, then you lose 10, then you lose 10, then you lose 10. You're going to make or break it on the test. If your kids want it bad enough to study, we had one family with 3 kids and all 3 are on the nursery teams, and their parents sat down with them after dinner every night getting ready for the state, and they studied the test questions. Okay. And that's what I wanted as a coach. Now the other thing you got to know is, what if you want to do this and just have fun? There's not a thing wrong with that. Not a sinking thing. You got to sit down with your kids and say, what do you want to do? I want to go get ice cream and chips after the contest. Okay, let's go to the contest. I had a team of kids, girls, 3 girls. We went to nationals with them, but they loved ice cream. And I'd get a quarter thing, put it in the back seat with the girls. And then it's like, I don't hear a thing all the way to the nursery. I go, hey, and it looked like some scene from a vampire movie. And you got ice cream all over the face. But they studied hard. It's a blast working with kids. So figure out what you want to do, figure out what your kids want to do, and try to do that. Okay. So if you try to take state and you don't take state, but you worked really hard, you're successful, including my teams. And Amy knows there's times we've taken second or third, and she knows I'm not mean to my kids when that happens. I'm saying, hey, first they're crying, and that's fine because they wanted to win. I want them to want to win. But, and then we just, okay, let's chill like a villain and go home. Well, okay, we'll do it. What do we do next year? Does that make sense? That's past what I said I would talk about. But thank you, Amy. I'm very glad you're doing that. So any questions, any more questions? And you can ask me as you want, okay? Because I like to ask questions. I don't like when people won't answer my questions. Yes?
What are the
But you might have to speak up.
What are the practicums that they do?
Okay, it varies. Last year they didn't do the stuff, but usually there is a written customer assistance. Okay, they should know how to do a business letter. So what I teach the kids is, if that's your practicum, we sit down, we look at them and say, which one do you want to do? And we all talk as a group, and everybody has their practicum. When you go to nationals, everybody does every practicum. Okay, in California, they're screwed up, so I don't even want to tell them what to do because I don't want to have to beat them again. So So there's the written customer assistance. There's a verbal customer selling. Okay. There is this is all on the thing that when you contact Amy, she'll tell you. Or when you contact me, I'll tell you. Okay. I don't mind at all. It's where the website is what I'm trying to tell you about, not how to coach it. And then potting or cuttings. Okay. Either one. Teach them speed on the pottings. A lot of time, one of the coaches that I used to compete against that used to win a lot was from Yelm, Mike Patrick. And every year we'd do it and he'd get on our team because we didn't do exactly right. But then he'd go to nationals and get his ass kicked because at nationals, they got nurserymen grading you. And they know that if you root the plant, they're going to pot it up later. They don't care that it's exactly whatever, And my kids too get hit every time we go to nationals because they throw a bunch of plants out and say, okay, hurry up and pot them up. So, okay. So there's potting, there's verbal, there's written, and I can't remember. There's a fourth one. I can't remember what it is right now. I don't know. So verbal, written, customer assistance, and that used to be troubleshooting. I think they changed it. So those are three. That might be it that you need to know. But again, that will be on the website. And I would say, you know, sit down with your kids and practice those. Any other questions? Yeah.
I'm brand new.
Okay. So you're brand new. So here's what you do.
I keep hearing about this website. What website?
Well, it's not. It's usually they send a thing out and they say, here's our here's the what do they call it?
Manual.
Manual. Yeah.
Is a spreadsheet.
Here's the manual. And so you get the manual. Okay. And I don't know how, Amy, it just
You're gonna
goes-
get the spreadsheet via email, probably in a week or
That's
two.
it. Yeah.
And then it will get posted to the washingtonffa.org
Well,
is
I'm
the
not supposed to have any
website.
of this.
You don't have anything yet because it's being updated because here at conference they set next year's dates and next year's practicums.
She's right on.
So
So that's
check
what I
your
look
email in like 2
Just
weeks.
don't-
I look for that email. I look for that email when it comes out, then I take it, I save it, then I go, I teach off that email. I'm going to do that this year. Okay. And you got me as an asset to help you. If you got any questions, you send me email, say, Ramsey, what about this? What about that? And I'll help you any way I can. Start your kids out on the test. Okay. That's the quickest way to move up because test questions are just really fast. It's the quickest way as a coach. If you want your kids to move up is the test questions.
What is your email address?
What's
Good
that?
question, Wayne. What's your email? How do they contact you?
My email, wramsey@swsd101.org. And I'm going to be contacting you, young lady, about floral design sometime, okay? Because I know you do that, right?
Not anymore, not this year. I can help.
Okay, I need help because I have a national team. They're going to go to floral.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions on landscape drawings? I want to hit it right on the number on quitting. It looks like I've got it organized, just set right because of my lovely assistant here next to me, Vanna White. And ta-da.
Do I get paid?
Huh?
Do I get paid?
Yes, of course you get paid. Turn in your request to our school district and I'm sure they'll take care of you, just like they take care of me. Any other questions? So landscape drawing,
That meeting's for you.
get your kids ready on math. Yes, questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just to clarify, do our students have to draw a landscape design?
No, you don't have to draw landscape drawing design.
Email address. Read them.
That was nationals in the old days. That don't have to do it anymore. Any other questions? You guys good?
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure. And I'm telling you, as low as I might be on the scale, I'm telling you everything I know. Okay. But that's, if you want your team to do well right away, you start them on the test questions.
Okay.
Get those test questions, copy them off. I coach differently than other coaches. I make my kids write their own study cards. I make my kids do their own slides because I tell them, if you don't want to win bad enough to do this, then you don't want to win. You know, I don't do them for the kids. A lot of advisors do. And that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. I think I'm finished. I want to be right on the money. I will stay around for any questions you guys might have after I'm finished. But I'm telling you, you know, like, don't feel stupid starting a team and being afraid of losing. Don't be afraid of losing. Just go out there and do your best.
You gotta log off.
Can I
Other people want.
Yep.
give a plug for Steve Lorenz's